Welcome everyone to this week's Founder Chat. This week I'm talking to Hayro. I should have asked how to pronounce your last name. Hambardzumyan?
That's close enough. That's pretty much better than most of the people tried to say it before.
How do you say your last name?
That was Hambardzumyan.
Hambardzumyan.
Yeah,
okay,
perfect.
There we go. Thank you so much. And Hayro is the founder of Learnkey. And so what Learnkey is, I have a little written blurb here, and I'm sure you can really expand on it because I'm really interested to learn more about it.
Sure.
Is that Learnkey is this global online marketplace that connects you, whoever is on the marketplace, to instructors, teachers, as well as tutors that can teach you in a personalized and customizable way so you can reach your goals faster. So really curious to dig into that. I also know that we know you, Hayro, through the Aaron coaching program, and that you were part of the Edmonton startup Propel Accelerator, and that part of that you get this access to this coaching, which is fantastic. And I know our coach Mira has been working with you, Mira Silin, and you've been doing SEO work and working on website and lots of good stuff. I know you're redesigning things right now. We'll dig into all of that, but I'm excited to finally meet you because I've seen your name and your company name come up a lot at Volition.
Oh.
And Mira is so excited to be working with you and to continue to work with you. So really excited about that. So welcome here to today's chat. And for those who are joining us today, my name is Melanie, and I'm one of the founders and managing partners of Volition. So we build capacity, connectivity, and knowledge in global startup ecosystems. And one of the ways that we connect ecosystems is through having these conversations with founders in our community, just like this one. So it'll be kind of a 30-minute casual conversation, interview style. But if you're joining us now, or if you're joining us later on IGTV or YouTube, feel free to say hello in the chat. I keep seeing people popping in, and I'm trying to wave as you come in, but feel free to say hello. Feel free to ask questions too. It doesn't have to be just me and Hayro having this conversation. If you have something that you want to ask or contribute, please do as well. So, Hayro, I don't want to take up any more airspace right now. I want to hand it over to you so people can learn more about you and about Learnkey. So let's just get started with telling us a bit about yourself and kind of a short introduction to Learnkey, and then we'll get into origin stories and all those things.
Hi, as you mentioned, my name is Hayro, and I'm the founder of Lrnkey.com. I was born in Armenia. I'm Armenia by background, from my native background. We emigrated to Canada 8 years ago. It's one of the best things that happened to me in my life, and we've been here since. I'm from Fort McMurray, work in the oil sands.
Right.
And I think it was 2019 where we came with this idea to start Learnkey, and it started with my efforts to find French teachers for my children. And I found a lady who was ready to teach French for $60 for half an hour. And coming from Armenia, knowing that these prices are very, very high, I was like, this cannot be true. And after some time, my older daughter, she wanted to learn guitar. I found a guitar teacher who was $70 an hour. And I'm like, this is crazy. There must be a way. So I was talking to my wife about this, and we contacted one of our friends who said, oh, there is a girl who teaches French on Skype. And we found this girl, and kids started learning, and it went very well. And I'm like, why other people in Fort McMurray, because it's remote, you know, like, or somewhere else, shouldn't have an opportunity to look for people who can teach them various things? And it shouldn't be limited to, I don't know, guitar or languages. There are so many other things that I had to learn when I immigrated to Canada, in professional life, in personal life. What's the best place to fish in Alberta? I don't know. Right? So we came up with this idea to make a place where people can find, let's call them experts in whatever they're trying to learn, and book time and learn. And the people who know, they will be able to make additional money based on their experience and knowledge. And the others will benefit from learning exactly what they want.
Oh, that's
so
fantastic.
That's how the whole thing was born.
Yes. And I know it's been quite the journey since. So when did you actually launch Learnkey?
We launched the website right before pandemic last year. It was April, June. That's where we kind of launched our website, and then the madness started.
Yes, absolutely. I know. So talk us through what happened for the last, whatever that is now, 12 to 14, 15 months, I guess it's been. I know you talked about how you have failed on purpose. What does this mean? Unpack it for us.
We're trying to change this culture of startups talking about successes only. We want to talk about the failures, because if there is no failure, there is no success. So I mostly talk about how we fail, because then I can share with the other startups or other people how failing is normal, because on media and on social media, we always hear these overnight stories. Nobody talks about the 10 years that came before that night. So I want to talk about the 10 or last year, let's say. So we started with our website. We outsourced the development of the website, and that went very bumpy, because we got a final product which didn't have any of us as founder in it, because we just got a packaged program which worked technically. But that's where we learned that what I think is good and what you think is good doesn't matter, and they're totally different. And then we started talking to people who were using it. We started to people who liked it. We talked to people who didn't like it, and we started learning. And I said, oh, this is a very interesting way to learn, is you develop a very complicated and not user-friendly platform. You find the most tech unaware user, you put it on, you put that unaware user on that website, and start looking and observing and learning how insane your plan was. And it took us maybe a couple of months to realize that we don't know what we're doing. And we said, okay, ask the people who know. So we went to various people, some experts, not only in companies, like in business, but also UI, UX, web development, design, you know, user flow, all these new words that I learned during the last year.
Yeah.
And the problem with Canada is everybody's very nice. They say, yeah, it's fine, it's okay. Maybe you change a little bit here, maybe you change a little bit there. But then, as you mentioned, we had that opportunity to work with Erin coaches, and we were very lucky because we got a straight, you know, blunt feedback, like, your website sucks.
Yeah.
Like, well, finally, we know what's the problem.
Yeah.
And then we worked with the coaches, with the instructors, and then we contracted the professional UI UX company, explained the business case. We also shared all the things that we learned.
Yeah.
And now we are in this redesign stage, planning to launch 1st of August with all that failings, learnings inside of it. So it's like the rebirth of Learnkey, August 1st. And I'm sure there will be another painful year of failing. But now we know that's normal. So that gives us a little bit more comfort and confidence, I guess.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's so important. Every time I do one of these talks with a founder, I ask them what's one of the lessons learned they would pass along to another founder who's just starting out. And this one about, like, listen to your customer, because we don't know what we don't know, and we usually don't know what our customers actually need and want, and how they're going to react to our messaging and our websites, and like how they use the tools, and what they actually what they actually, not what they say they need, but what they actually need and will pay for are very different things. Yeah. So it's a very common and hard lesson learned. And it sounds like you went about this a really great way, and kind of like pivoted. I know you said it took a couple months to realize you didn't know anything, but when you realized that you were missing information, you didn't get upset about that. It sounds like you said, okay, well, let's go find people that do, which is fantastic.
Yes. We also integrated lots of social aspects into the enterprise. So it's not just business. Like, for example, knowing that people in less developed countries have less opportunities to make an income or a living, you know, decent living based on their skills. We thought if we remove the boundaries and allow them to sell their services to a more developed world where people can afford the pay, it works win-win, because we living in Canada, for us, it's much better to spend, I don't know, $20-30 versus 60 for an hour. And at the same time, we are giving an opportunity to a person who is on the other side of the ocean, who has the knowledge and the skills and the experience, but he doesn't have a workplace. He doesn't have employment to make decent living. And now we're solving another social problem of inequality. Right?
Very cool.
And, we have that expression we use. We say talent has no boundaries, but opportunities do. So we were trying to remove the boundaries for opportunities to connect the world. And another aspect of this is also that when you are learning from someone from another country, you don't only learn what you want to learn, you also got exposed to the culture, to the lifestyle. You make a friend on the other side of the globe. And that, I think, is very exciting. And by this connection, is helping both sides, because, as I said, I share my passion. I have an opportunity to do what I love. Like, some people want to share their ability to do crochet or knitting or playing guitar, as I said, coding.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
And you make money with what you love, with your passion. So.
Okay, so if I am somewhere in the world, so right now, or August 1st maybe, can I be from anywhere in the world and come
Yes.
to Learnkey to find a teacher, instructor?
Yes.
Okay,
Right now,
fantastic.
yes. Right now, the old website is still live. We didn't take it
Okay.
offline because we continue to learn and will continue to learn for the next, I don't know how long. But the new one is coming 1st of August. Right now, if you log into learnkey.com, the interface may not be the best in the world, but you will still be able to find a teacher who will teach you, I don't know, English, Armenian, coding. I think even we have a guitar player right now. We were not doing any advertisement for the last 6 months, so the traffic is down, not so many people. But we have committed users who've been there for the last 8 months, you know, taking 2-3 lessons a week, which costs them $20, $30 a week. And they are improving their skills, exploring their passion and what they love together. And it's beautiful. Like, these connections are beautiful. We are providing also a free first lesson for the learners. You know, like when we're doing some comparison with our competitors, you don't know what you're buying. Like, if we look at indirect competitors, if you buy a video course on coding, let's say, you don't know what you're buying. You buy something, and the first 10 hours of it is something that you already know. And you are afraid to fast forward because you may miss something that you paid for. And then after 20th hour, you lose your motivation. And then you have a question, there is nobody to answer that question. And now you lost 30 hours without gaining anything, and you lost your $50.
Right.
Like on Learnkey, you have a chance to talk to the person for free, you make a connection, you explain why you want to learn, because depending on why you want to learn coding, you will need a different way of explaining. If you want to find a job, or if it's just a hobby, or you want to do two lessons a week, or you want every day, twice a day. So it's completely personalized and customizable, like you mentioned in the very beginning. It also is based on the way I learn. Some people learn visually, some people learn by doing, some people want more homework, some people want no homework, some people have lots of time, some don't. So we were like, why do we have to tell you what you want? Here is the person who knows. Here are 10 people who can teach you what you love. Talk to them for free, make your chores, commit, you know, like 3-4 months. If you feel like taking a break, take a month off, come back again. Feel free to learn the way you think you should learn.
And so does Learnkey match you with different teachers based on those kind of preferences, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So first of all, you search, and then you put some parameters, price, timing, and you look at their schedules. They show when they are available. So then you know what times work for you. You can ask for additional times. But in future, what we're trying to do is also integrate some of IA that will, you know, like work like date sites, because we're trying to find a perfect match. It's like finding your favorite teacher. I'm sure you remember your favorite teacher from school, and you were very good in the subject because you loved the person. There was the connection. So we will try to add into the matching process some AI, which will say, okay, if you are like this, maybe you will like working with people like this. And then it will help you learn in your own classroom of one with your favorite teacher every time for a fraction of the cost. So
I love that. Amazing. I love that you're doing this also. You said you're in Fort McMurray?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're doing this, as you mentioned, when it started, it was like we're in rural Canada and we're not able to access things in the same way. And the community in Fort McMurray has been through so much in the last 5 to 10 years. And I'm sure it's come together, every year, always. It's come together in a big way. And I know I went through Fort McMurray on a research tour talking to women in tech, and I learned about the incredible tech community that's growing, especially for younger individuals. Like the schools there have just such incredible programs for even young kids, and so the tech community is just growing too, which is really great to hear as well.
It's very important for Fort McMurray to explore alternatives, because we're now solely based on oil sands, and now we're looking at alternatives and tech is the most potential to grow fast and grow big. So that's why the government and the local governance and the organizations are paying lots of attention. I benefited a lot. I started working with startup YMM, and this pandemic came, and it was like a double-edged sword. You know, it had all the negative things that we know, but at the same time, it opened this virtual world for us. So from Fort McMurray, my home office, I was able to participate in the Web Summit in Portugal. I was in the CIX in LA. So I traveled the world just sitting on my chair in my office. So that was great opportunity.
It's amazing. Okay, so you've learned a lot. You started off with this vision. You've learned a lot in the last few years, and especially the last kind of 15 months. You're redesigning and relaunching August 1st. So what is your vision for Learnkey?
My vision is now that we will be able to share the value of Learnkey because, as you mentioned, I'm not saying we're completely new idea. There are lots of websites that connect people, you know, like there are tutoring websites. They're mostly focused on school-age children and maybe students. But what we're trying to do is, you know, like when you have the neurons in your brains and they make a connection and that connection gets stronger while you learn. So we're applying that same model to the globe. Like we have our users all over the globe, and whenever they make a connection, the earth becomes a little bit better and it knows more. We are challenging all the existing formal education systems, not for all the subjects. I wouldn't advise you have a surgery from someone who learned how to do surgery on Learnkey. But some people have to spend 2-3 years in college to learn how to do, I don't know, digital animation. Why not to find someone who can teach you that in 3 months based on your needs, work with you the way you want, and cut the time in half. And you don't even have to wait to finish. You can start whatever you're doing with the support of someone expert in the area. And we want people to know about us. We want people to feel the benefit, to understand why it's better. It's again, it's not applicable for everything, but for lots of things that we are challenging this 150-year-old education structure. When there is one teacher talking to 60 people, 60 different people, he tells them the same thing every time. He expects the same progress, and we just produce more and more bricks in the wall. That's not what we are. Maybe that was a need before because there was no internet and one-on-one wasn't an opportunity. But now with the technology, with the tools, where there is internet in the most remote villages in Armenia, people are like children, 10-year-old children running around with mobile phones, smartphones with internet in there. Why not to exploit this opportunity to make education personal, democratize the education, not keep it centralized and
absolutely.
The same with teachers. I was talking to, sorry to cut you off. I was talking to teachers. Like, we are so limited in what we can tell to children because of the limitations, rules, policies, this and that. They have their own ideas. They want to teach math in this way. Now it gives them, now Learnkey will give them an opportunity to explore more teaching methodologies that their hands are tied in formal educational institutions, right? So it's more freedom, more democracy. Just if you look
accessibility,
back, if you look back 150 years and compare it to today, everything has changed except the education system. It's the same classroom. Maybe the blackboard or the board is now electronic, but the concept is the same. There is children in the classroom looking at the teacher who says, this is right, this is wrong. I think it's time to move on.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, well, that's fantastic. So just taking on one little thing called the education system and what you're doing, the global education system. So I think that's amazing. I come from a family of teachers, and they always were frustrated with things like this as well, like you're talking about, and would love to hear about democratization of the system. So I was just mentioning that my family of teachers that I come from, that they would be very excited to hear, I'm sure, about this democratization of education. There's so many frustrating things, even for people who are in the system and love being within it. There's so many frustrating barriers, as you were talking about before as well. So thank you for what you're doing. So one thing I also like to ask, I know we're coming to the end of our time together. Are you available for a couple of extra minutes? Because we've had to drop in and out. Okay, perfect. So I want to give you a little bit of time here. I'd love to know, I know you've already provided a little bit around your lessons learned, but is there anything you hadn't already mentioned that would be a lesson learned that you would pass on to an entrepreneur who may be starting out today?
Yeah, if you decide that you are going to do it, there is nothing that will stop you. I don't have a very long experience of being an entrepreneur, but so far I think the most valuable skill of entrepreneur is to be ready to stand up after you fall down, because you'll be falling down a lot. And don't listen to all these nice stories. They are not true. They miss out 90% of the reality. They just talk about the good parts, and be ready to fail. Look at the others, how long it took them to get there, and have this 5 to 7 years ahead of you of sacrifices, of learning, and be very positive about these failures and hardships, because that's part of it. Like anything you do, like imagine you are a child and you start to walk, you have to fall down to learn that fall down hurts, and next time you fall down on the other side, third time you are holding on to something, and fourth time you run. So that's the same thing. We as entrepreneurs, as starting entrepreneurs, we're like children who learn to walk and talk. So be humble, go do crazy, all these things, try different things. There is no right way of doing this thing. There are some tools that may help you, but in your own particular unique situation, only you know what's right, because you tried and it worked.
Yeah. And you're mentioning that you are a new entrepreneur. So was entrepreneurship something that was on your mind at any point in time, or is it just like it came because of the problems that you were seeing?
No. Since I was in school, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And I got almost expelled from school because I bought boxes of chewing gums and I was selling them to my friends in school. And then they called my parents in, and it was a big deal. And it was Soviet Union, so everything was very strict. You were not allowed. It was like criminal to do sales, private business. Everything was crime.
Of course.
And then when I was in higher grades, there was this. Then after collapse of Soviet Union, we had this junior achievements club in the school. So I was the president. We were making some pastry, selling it in schools. But what I think the problem was that the society in post-Union world was locked to this logical sequence of life. You go to school, you take a profession, you go work, you make a family, then you die.
Right.
And I was like, okay, maybe this brain is going in the wrong direction. But then I came to Canada, and then I was like, whoa, I didn't know I could do that. Right. And then I tried to look at various options. I mean, in the beginning, it was very hard because I didn't have a job and this and that. Then I got a job. I got the house, I moved to Fort McMurray, and I'm like, okay, maybe now I have enough confidence and security to try out things and fail. You know, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. At least I tried. Right? But this thing to have my own idea come alive and be a businessman, to produce something, you know, something of value, find a niche, find a way of hustling, and then doing all this, you know, they say it's not about winning the game, it's about playing the game. So I was like, I want to be in the game. So now I'm in the game. It's good. I feel better. Like I look back for a year, I played. So now I can think about winning because I am in the game. Like if I look at stages, I was out of the game, now in the game, and maybe the next step will be winning. I don't want the first place. I can find it second.
Thank you for sharing. That's really interesting. So what can we, as your community, do to support you? What's your ask here today of us?
So maybe on August 1st, you can log into Learnkey.com and do some look around. And if you see something is confusing or something can be improved, share it with me. At the same time, talk to the instructors on the platform, book a free lesson, explore, learn, make friends, connections, and who knows, maybe you find someone who can teach you what you wanted to learn from your childhood but never had a chance.
Cool. I love it. So go to Learnkey. It's Learnkey.com, correct? Yes, Lrnkey.com. Yes, and check that out, especially on August 1st. I think we've lost. Oh, you're back. Okay, good. That time it didn't go away for very long. Yes, perfect. Okay, and make sure to provide feedback. So as Hayro, you were just saying about what's not working, but also I assume you also want to know what's working, what's going really well. Because we don't always hear that as either. So, so what's something you like about what they've done on August 1st? So that would be great to know as well. And then try it out. Cool. Amazing. And you can also find Learnkey on, looks like all of the social channels pretty much at Learnkey. So Lrnkey again. So make sure to go check that out. For anyone who's joining us, if you had any questions, now would be a time to ask, whether you're joining live, you can ask now. If you are joining us on IGTV or YouTube, feel free to ask a question and we'll make sure to get those over to Hayro as well. But in the meantime, make sure to go
and like, share, comment, all the things. Small businesses can always use that kind of attention and support from the community, of course. And so is there anything that we haven't touched on here today yet, Hayro, that you'd wanted to mention?
Another competitive advantage I would like to mention is for the
Absolutely.
teachers or people who teach online. All our direct competitors charge 30 to 40% of the transaction fee. We have managed to bring it down to 10. So if you are teaching on another platform, you can move to our platform and we will charge you only 10%.
Amazing. Amazing. And you can be from all over the world. And it sounds like, are you reaching out to people in different areas of the world? Like the areas you're talking about that don't have access to things like this? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So the overall business model is based on that, to connect less fortunate countries with countries that have like a higher than average living standards. For them,
right.
Paying $20 for an hour is not a big deal. But for the other side, making $20 an hour is a very big difference in their lifestyle. It
right.
will help them to feed the family for 10 days. So
amazing. And that's incredible. And thank you for all the work you've done. Thank you for taking that opportunity when you saw it and learning from the lessons and persevering and continuing and looking for help and getting connected with us. I'm really happy that I got to learn more about yourself and about Learnkey as well here today. So one thing I always like to ask. Oh no, of course, I'm happy that you're able to come. I have one question I always like to ask at the end, which is, what is one thing that brings you joy right now?
When I have an email set up, whenever there is a sales, when that sound comes like, ting, I know there is one more happy person on the platform.
I love that. Thank you so much. All right, well, thanks so much for coming here today. We'll be back next week at the same time. Let me double check who I'm talking to next week. We're in July, right? Yeah, so it's July 13th next week. And I will be talking to Tom DeHaas of Interface Fluidics. So join us next week and you'll be able to learn more about Interface Fluidics. In the meantime, again, Hayro, just continue to share with our community. We will have this up on IGTV and YouTube. We'll be sharing about what you're doing, and just really excited for your August 1st launch date. Remind us and we will tell everyone that that's happening.
I will.
All right, sounds good. Thanks everyone for coming. Bye.
Thanks everyone. Thanks for having me. Bye.